All right, here we go. Welcome back to my Hoarders Declutter series. I have been sitting on this footage for quite a while, slowly chipping away at this decluttering project and waiting to share it with all of you. And today it's finally here. We are doing a massive declutter of a walk-in closet and a guest room turned storage room. And while we do this, I'm going to be talking you through the process as well as sharing tips for decluttering if you have found yourself in a similar situation and need to get rid of some stuff. So I hope you find this video helpful, and let's just get started. Okay, so first of all, we are starting in this walk-in closet. You couldn't even see the floor, so it was definitely time to get some stuff out of here and make this space usable again. There was everything in here, from purses to old backpacks, sea glass, of course, old home videotapes, shoes galore. So as usual, we are going to start off by completely emptying out the space. I always find it amazing when I empty out a space and I get to see in front of me how much stuff can be shoved into one closet. It's truly amazing. But also, by emptying the space entirely, it makes it easy to see all that you have and properly sort through it. Plus, see what kind of room you have to work with when you start putting things back. And of course, give that empty space a good cleaning. That's definitely going to be needed. Now, if you're wondering, how does a person collect so much clutter? This is a lot more normal than you may think. Clutter is truly a slow creep, a very slow buildup, and I honestly think that decluttering and living more minimally is a newer trend. So a lot of people have never even really thought about it until recently, seeing it pop up everywhere. People might hold on to things because they have a sentimental attachment to it. They may hold on to things because they think someday they might need it, and that just in case mentality. And another thing that I don't feel we talk about enough is the dopamine hit we get from an impulse buy. It feels good to find a deal. It's fun to go shopping for new things. And lastly, when clutter starts growing, it can become incredibly stressful to deal with. So you may find yourself shoving things into a closet and shutting the door and telling yourself you'll deal with it later. Overwhelm often turns into avoidance. So again, this type of clutter collecting is very normal. We're all just human. So if you found yourself with way too much stuff and you're overwhelmed, don't feel bad, first of all. And my advice is to take it slow. You'll see throughout this video a lot of outfit changes. We filmed this over many different days and just slowly chipped away at it. If it took you years and years and years to build up the clutter, you cannot expect yourself to just be able to take care of all of it in one day. It's going to take you time, so make sure that you set your expectations pretty low to start, but you will get there as long as you just keep working on it gradually and over time. Once we got everything out of the closet and laid out in front of us, it was time for us to clean up the space. This definitely needed a good vacuum, as you can see, so we're going to take care of that. We're also going to wipe down the shelf and just make sure we get all the dust and cobwebs and random crumbs and things out of here. I would always recommend that you clean your space when you are decluttering it. Don't just empty out all of it, go through the stuff, and then put it back in. Let's consider this a full, fresh start in every sense, not just a slightly less messy version of what it used to be. When you clear a shelf or a drawer or a closet, in this case, give it a vacuum and a wipe down. I find that this is helpful to keep you from reverting to how you once were. A clean space feels super inspiring, it builds momentum, and it just feels good. So make sure that you take that extra step, because these two things really do go hand in hand. I have shared a ton of different ways to declutter your home in my videos, but I recently heard about something new that I wanted to share. It is called the reverse shopping spree. So essentially, you pretend your house is the store, you walk around your house with a bag, and you pick out only the items that you would buy again today, things that you would spend your money on right now. Everything else you can consider your non-purchase pile, and that pile is full of things that simply don't serve you anymore and can go. Sometimes all it takes is a mindset shift to get you motivated and help you make progress. So instead of thinking, what should I get rid of? You're thinking, what do I actually want to keep? And it can turn the process into more of a game than a chore. Now, that's not the way that we were doing our declutter on this day, but I just wanted to share in case anyone was needing some other more unique ideas for how to get yourself started and just how to get through the process, because I know it can be extremely daunting and overwhelming. But for us on this day, we were just going through each individual item. I would lift something up. I would ask, do you want to keep this? And if it was a yes, I'd put it in the yes pile. And if it was a no, then we'd throw it on the floor and deal with it later, shove it into trash bags. We collected quite a few things for donations, but there was also quite a bit of trash as well, which is to be expected when you are doing a big declutter project like this. We are going to take a quick break from the decluttering to talk about today's sponsor, which is Scatter Slots. I always love to share fun games to play on my phone with you guys, and this one is a good one. They currently have over 20 million players already, and it's completely free to download and play, which is awesome. There are over 200 innovative slots to play, so you could never get bored, and I love that you can also play offline as well. We're actually about to head out on a 12-hour road trip, so I will definitely be spending some time in the passenger seat playing this. Their quest system allows you to choose your own way to beat each level, plus you are able to collect hourly and daily bonuses to keep yourself ahead. Right now you can get 12 million free coins as a welcome bonus. Combine that with the endless free spins, the bonus games, and also excellent graphics, and this game has it all. Again, it's free to download and play, and it does not involve any real gambling. It's just a great way to relax after a busy day and have some fun at the same time. Be sure to click the link down below to download Scatter Slots, or you can also scan the QR code on the screen. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to Scatter Slots for sponsoring today's video. Another thing that I talk about on my channel here is sentimental items. I feel like I talk about them a lot, but what I don't often talk about is the guilt associated with certain items that you have in your home. So let's say someone gifted you something for Christmas and you actually really don't like it. So it sits in a drawer somewhere and collects dust, but you feel guilty getting rid of it because it was a gift. Or something even harder, inherited items from a loved one. Those can be so tricky to get rid of. Sometimes you can get creative with things like that. Maybe you inherited a bunch of old shirts from a deceased loved one. You could turn them into a pillowcase or a stuffed animal. But remember that your loved one, whether it was gifted to you or passed on to you after they passed, would not want you to be burdened. If you're truly not using something, either find a way to turn it into something that you will use, honor it in some way, or pass it on to someone else who may be in need, and know that your loved one would appreciate that more than their stuff just sitting unloved in storage somewhere. I know it's easier said than done, but I figured I would talk about it in case that is something you found yourself struggling with, or in case this was just a message that you needed to hear today. If you are thinking about doing a declutter project, but you're not sure what to actually do with the stuff you're getting rid of, I figured I could share some ideas or tips for that. So first of all, thrift stores like Goodwill or Salvation Army or just local charities come to mind first. And then of course, shelters like a women's shelter or homeless shelters. They always need things like toiletries, clothing, bedding. Animal shelters also love to take in old towels and blankets. Sometimes they even take newspapers as well, I think for like the cats. You could donate craft supplies, books, and toys to a local school or a teacher you know, or a daycare center. Old electronics, I believe you could go to Staples or Best Buy and you can recycle those things. And sometimes there are local e-waste events as well to get rid of that stuff. You could, of course, sell things on Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark. You could even have a garage sale if you're up for it. And there are also buy nothing groups on Facebook as well that you could post things to give away for free. You definitely don't need to rent a dumpster to get rid of stuff, although that is an option too if you have a ton of trash that is not salvageable for sale or donations. I know that for me personally, over time, the actual act of figuring out what I want to keep and what I want to donate has become the easy part. The difficult thing is getting the stuff out of my house, like putting it in my trunk and getting it out of my house. So I would highly suggest that whatever method you choose to get rid of your stuff, that you just do it immediately, because if you don't, you run the risk of just opening these bins and these trash bags back up and starting to put stuff away. I am for sure guilty of that and have done that in the past, so I just want to make sure that I share my mistakes so that hopefully you can avoid making them. I wanted to quickly remind you guys of where we started with working on this walk-in closet so that you can get the full effect of the after. It looks so much better. There's so much more space. You can actually get in here and move around, and I'm super proud of the progress that we made in here. And this was everything that we decluttered from that closet. There was so much stuff. And next we're moving on to what I think we could call a guest room that has turned into a storage room. So there's an extra bed in here, but there's also there's just so much stuff that's collected over time. So we're starting in this corner here on this first day. We're just trying to get rid of any of the extra stuff that was on the floor. And then we are going through all of these shirts that were hanging in here. I'm going to hold each individual thing up, ask whether or not we should keep it or get rid of it, and then move on to the next and just continue doing that until we go all the way down the line. And then we're going to actually take all these shirts, all the ones that are being kept, out of here and move them into the walk-in closet because now there's space for that stuff, so it doesn't need to be housed in this storage room anymore. The goal for this room for my parents is to turn it into a mixture of a guest room and a playroom because they do have lots of grandkids now, including my 2 kids and my sister's 3 kids. So it would be nice to have a place to put all those toys so they don't have to have them out in like their living room or their dining room like they are currently. So I think that my plan is to finish this declutter project in this room, get it fully decluttered for them, and then I would love to help them like paint the walls and redecorate and organize so that they can have like a true guest room / playroom. Maybe get them like a day bed or something so that it's like a multi-purpose type of situation. This is a pretty small room, so I definitely want to make sure I utilize the space as best as I can. But for this video, we're focusing on the decluttering, and then maybe I can do a part 2 where we make this room over for them. The next part of this room that we are going to work on is this bookshelf that was just covered in so many random things. So again, we're going to work on taking every single thing off of this bookshelf so that we can go through it all. And I believe we ended up getting rid of most everything that was on here. This was all truly just clutter. Another thing that I wanted to mention in this video is how much easier this process can feel if you are doing it with a friend or a family member. I have had a lot of people tell me that they really just cannot make a decision about whether or not they want to keep something or get rid of it unless they're being held accountable by somebody else. So in this situation, my mom very well could have done this all by herself. She could have gone through all this stuff just fine by herself. But it's just one of those things that it's just easier when you have someone else there who's kind of directing the project and making it less overwhelming for you and helping you make those quick decisions. So if you're finding yourself having a really hard time going through something, maybe invite somebody over as moral support and to help you get it done, and you'll surprise yourself at how much more you're able to get rid of just by having that other person there kind of holding you accountable. You guys know that my family is on the hunt right now for a new home, and I shared this in a recent video, but something I have been doing personally when decluttering my own house is asking myself, would I buy this again for my next home? And using that mindset has been really helpful for me as I've been working on packing up some things. So maybe try asking yourself, would I pack this in a box and bring it with me to my dream home? And if the answer is no, then it probably doesn't belong in your current one either. But I would love to know, while we're on this whole topic, if you yourself are going through this process, I would love to know what has been the hardest thing for you to declutter so far. For me, I would definitely say, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, that it was getting rid of things that I associate with my children as babies. So old baby clothes, old baby items, just anything related to them being babies, I've had a really hard time with because it initially kind of felt like I was throwing away their childhood, but that is definitely not the case. I have like 10,000, actually probably like 50,000 pictures in my phone of my children as babies in all their various outfits and using all their baby things, and by getting rid of the items, I was not getting rid of the memories attached to those things. And once I started to get into that mindset, it became a lot easier for me to get rid of some of that stuff that we no longer need because my children are no longer babies. I thought it was so funny how many old like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video DVDs were in here. Apparently they were never returned, so I hope they weren't missing those things too much. But when it comes to DVDs, these are so obsolete at this point. No one is really using DVDs anymore. We have everything at the tips of our fingers and in our phones now, on the TVs and streaming and all of that. So most of these DVDs we were able to just go ahead and get rid of, but she did keep a couple of them. Now we're going to start filling up these trash bags with all the stuff that we are getting rid of. We moved the bookshelf out of that room entirely, and now it's in the other room, and this is the after. This is everything we kept from that bookshelf, and this was everything we got rid of from that bookshelf. So like I said, we got rid of the majority of what was on there. And now we're moving on to a different day, and we're going to start with focusing on everything that was underneath the bed. Every single square inch of this room that could have had stuff in it had stuff in it. So under the bed, on the bookshelf, in the dresser, on the floor, just everywhere. So we're going through everything that was under the bed. Some of this stuff were things that my mom had to have someone else go through because they were not her things. But a lot of the stuff we were able to go ahead and declutter. And of course, we found a ton of sea glass in here as well. We always find sea glass all over my mom's house every single time we do one of these declutters, and it's so funny. As I'm recording these voiceovers, we are actually a couple days away from heading to North Carolina as a family, and I actually found myself saying to my toddler, "Oh, what are we going to do at the beach in North Carolina? Are we going to play in the sand? Are we going to look for sea glass?" And as soon as I said that, I was like, oh no, I'm becoming my mother. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of schools will take like old craft supplies and things like that. So my mom had a ton of craft supplies in these bins that were under the bed. So she donated a bunch of those things to my sister because she is a first grade teacher. And now that we're done under the bed, we are going to work on going through this dresser. There was a ton of stuff in here, from like old video game consoles to even expired snacks to random hats and bedding and clothing and old picture frames. And there were some things like this that I'm looking up here. I was trying to find out if it had any value, if we wanted to sell it, and it actually does. So we're going to look into that. But there was just a lot of random stuff in here that we had to go through and decide what to keep and what to get rid of. And we flew right through this. I felt like my mom was doing a really good job of parting with things on this day and just wanting to have a fresh start. I am always talking about how to declutter, but I also want to talk about what are the benefits of it, because there are so many benefits beyond just having a tidier space. For me personally, less clutter means less visual noise, and my brain feels more relaxed. I feel like I can think more clearly, I can focus better, and I feel just less overwhelmed as a whole. And another thing that comes from it is saving money. You stop buying duplicates of what you already own because you forgot you had them in the piles of clutter. You can also maybe make a little cash from selling some of that stuff that you're getting rid of, and you'll find yourself impulse shopping less as a result of it too. But my personal favorite benefit is the time time saved because you no longer need to spend a ton of time cleaning and tidying and searching for things and rearranging things, and you can take back that time and spend it doing things that you enjoy. So when you're decluttering, maybe stop and think to yourself, is this item worth my time and worth my peace? And if the answer is no, then go ahead and get rid of it. Because I can see it on the floor here, I'm curious if any of you guys had a Wii Fit back in the day, and did it tell you that you were overweight? Because I distinctly remember getting on that Wii Fit to play one of the games and it telling me that I was overweight when I weighed like 115 pounds in high school. So it's kind of crazy. That thing was maybe not the best. So that was definitely an easy thing for us to get rid of when we were decluttering in this room. Now that we are all done with the majority of the clutter in that little guest room turned hopefully playroom soon when we can get around to it, we're going to work on decluttering my mom's desk. This is in the kitchen, and it's always just been kind of like a clutter magnet type of zone, like a catch-all. So we're going to go through all the drawers and take everything out and decide what to keep and what to get rid of. There were quite a few more sentimental items in here, which was surprising because I wouldn't have expected to find those in a desk drawer, but there was definitely some things in here that were more sentimental that we did keep, but we made a ton of progress getting rid of all this random stuff that was in the drawers. We are nearing the end of this edition of my Hoarders Declutter series at my parents' house, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that this has given you some motivation to tackle maybe a cluttered space in your home. Again, I really want to come back here and potentially make over that room for them where we were decluttering before. I'd love to paint the walls and decorate and maybe put in some new furniture and stuff like that. So if you would like to see that, make sure that you leave me a comment down below letting me know. And if you'd like more videos at my parents' house, there's definitely more where this came from. So be sure to let me know in the comments so that we can get to work on that. But once again, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to check out Scatter Slots. I will have all that information for them to download the app in my description box down below. So be sure to check there. And that is going to be it for me today. As soon as we finish in this drawer, I'll show you all the things that we were able to declutter on this day in particular when I was there filming. We got rid of so much stuff, and I know my mom feels a million times better. And that's all for me, and I'll see you again next time.